can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together?
Okay, so obviously it has been a couple days since I filmed last for this, like the intro to this video. But basically we went down to the office that's at the hospital that we're delivering at to get the ultrasound done and to like have my appointment with my doctor. And so we like went in and we like had to wait like a really long time because like something was wrong with their system to where it wasn't saying that I was there even though I was like checked in. So we were sitting there and they went to bring me in to see the doctor before I went to get my ultrasound, which I was like, I have to get my ultrasound first because if the baby didn't grow I have to get a referral to like fetal medicine, so I can't see the doctor before the ultrasound. And she was like, well, she's still backed up. And I was like, well, it's like 20 minutes past my appointment time right now, so I need to see her before I see my doctor, so we're gonna have to figure it out. And so she must have like told her like, hey, like why are you like running like so far behind? I don't know if they like squeezed too many people in the last of the day, but I was just like, hey, I just need the ultrasound like measurements so that we can like get the referral if we need it. I was like, that's all. Yeah. So they ended up like getting us into like the ultrasound like the next couple minutes after that. So we went in there and the lady was kind of like, I don't know, like kind of like dry with expression, and it was the end of the day, so like maybe that's why she was just not having it. So we were getting like a specific test done that we like still needed for like one of our panels. Yeah, it was like, I don't know exactly how to explain that very correctly. But anyway, so we are not finding out the gender until birth, obviously. I think I went over that in my like first OB appointment video, but I'm not sure. But we're not finding out what the gender is until we like go to give birth to the baby, so we still have to figure out 2 names and everything, which is a handful in itself, and we're already halfway through this pregnancy, so we'll see how that goes. So we like made sure to tell the lady that like we didn't want to know what the gender was, and she just kind of was like, why? And I was like, because we have a girl and a boy at home, like I don't need to know, I don't want to know, like I found out with my other 2, why does it matter why I don't want to know? No table. So she like obviously like respected our wishes, because if she hadn't been, she probably would have been fired by the end of this discussion. So we like are doing the ultrasound and she's doing like the top portion first, and then like tells us to look away when she's doing the bottom portion. That was like fine and all, and then the baby like doesn't really like anything on my stomach, so like pants, like an ultrasound machine, fetal Doppler, anything, like anything touches my stomach, the baby does not like it. So the baby will move to try to get away from it, and the baby decided to like burrow itself like the furthest down that it could, and like behind like my pubic, pelvic, whatever you want to call it, bone. And so that was interesting, because then she started to get super frustrated and was like slamming the ultrasound wand like down on my stomach and like shoving me like further off the table, and I was like, this freaking hurts, like calm down a little bit. And she was just like, this baby like just isn't cooperating. And I was like, lady, we wouldn't be so far behind schedule if you would have taken us on time, first of all. Like I was here 20 minutes before my appointment time. There's no excuse. I wasn't here late. Anyways, so basically she was just like really like irritated. I don't know like what her issue was, but I basically was just like, let's just get this ultrasound done and let's like get out of here. Which sucks, because like that's like one of our like longest ultrasounds that we'll like have this whole pregnancy, and she kind of just ruined it very quickly with her attitude. She also printed out literally 4 of the exact same picture. Like, I'm not kidding you, it's the exact same picture for ultrasound pictures. That's all she printed out for us. And like, just couldn't be bothered. So maybe she was just having a bad day, but I will definitely not be getting my 3rd trimester ultrasound done with her whatsoever at all. Like, it will be done in a different office because that was terrible. But then we went to meet with the doctor afterwards, and super nice guy. He's the only doctor in that office that I haven't met yet, because I went to this office with Quentin, and then I made a terrible decision to go to a different office with Aspen, and had, it's okay, had a terrible experience. So I'm back there. So he's the only doctor I haven't met because he like came last year, I do believe. So I had to meet him, because you're supposed to see all the doctors before you deliver if you can, just so like you're like a little bit familiar with all of them, because you can get any of them for delivery, and the midwives. So that's like why they wanted to get me in with him, just so I could like kind of shop around a little bit, I guess, and get used to him. But he was super nice. He went over, because I do have a heart monitor on. You can't see it because I don't have a regular shirt on, I just have my sweatshirt on. Anyways, I've had to wear it for 2 weeks. I'm not done with my 2 weeks yet, but I have to do this, and then I have to get a ultrasound done of my heart. But so I have to like get the ultrasound done still. But he was like very reassuring of like, that's exactly like what I think the course of action should be, and basically reassuring me that they will have like what's the word, correspondence, not really the word I was looking for, but it kind of works, with my cardiologist, to make sure that like the rest of labor, and if I need to get on any medication for my heart palpitations, that it's safe, and that the baby responds well to them, and then also in delivery that I like have the right medication and everything. So that was really nice and reassuring, because that has been like kind of like scary a little bit for me, I would say, because like I don't really know what's going on. I haven't had to deal with this with any of my other pregnancies, so it's just like a whole new ball game. Sorry, I was opening a fruit roll up, you're welcome, for Aspen that whole time. But so I don't think like, nothing's like really different. I don't have to go to high risk until they basically like figure out like what's going on, and then he said that I still might not have to, it just depends, hey. And that the baby is now measuring in the 25th percentile instead of the 1st, which is really, really good. At our 16-week ultrasound, which was 3 weeks ago, the baby was measuring in the 1st percentile, which is obviously the 1st percentile, not good. So they obviously redid the measurements today to see if the baby was growing, if the baby wasn't, what was going on. And now the baby's all the way up to the 25th. So we're in like the safe zone considered now. So they just want to do a 3rd like growth scan in the 3rd trimester to make sure that the baby is growing out of the 25th percentile. He said even if the baby stays in the 25th percentile, it's okay, because it'll just be like a tinier baby, which I was like, I'm okay with that. Like, I would like the baby to be like higher than the 25th, but Aspen's head was very big and got stuck. So I would always hope for a little bit smaller of a head, and for the baby not to be sunny side up, and that would be perfect. My heart also doesn't affect having to like not be able to do a TOLAC or VBAC, whatever you want to say or whatever you know. He said that I'm still fully allowed and capable of trying for TOLAC, so we're gonna do that, because I don't want to have another C-section. Damien does not want me necessarily having another C-section if I don't need one, but he also kind of wants me to have one, because then like everything's like in a controlled scenario. But if we do end up having any more babies past this baby, then I do not want to have repeat C-sections over and over again unless medically necessary. So I hated the recovery time for a C-section. I would give birth vaginally every single day of my life if I didn't have to have another C-section. Like that would be great. Basically, he said it's like completely safe for me to still do, but if I do end up having palpitations, like an SVT episode, while I'm in labor and they can't break it, they can't give me certain medication, because there's a medication that you can give during SVT and it stops your heart and then your heart like restarts by itself so that it'll get out of that, and your heart will stop racing. But you can't have that while you're pregnant, I guess. So you can't even have it while you're like in labor, because like obviously I'm pretty sure it can put the baby in distress. So that's a no-go. But he did say if nothing else works, because there's other like ways that they can try to get you out of it, that basically the only way to stop it, instead of letting it go itself, which is kind of dangerous, is to deliver. So he was like, if you're not like ready to push, then that's a little concerning. He was like, we can do an emergency C-section if it comes down to that and you agree to it. He's like, you can stay in SVT in labor, but it's not going to be pleasant. So my only hope in going into this birth is like a healthy, happy baby and a healthy, happy me. Sadly, if that comes down to having an emergency C-section again, it does, and I can't do anything about that, but I would rather have both me and the baby safe at the end of the day. But my like ideal birth would definitely be to have a VBAC and like go through with that, but it all comes down to the baby, honestly. And if my heart decides to just not cooperate, I guess. So we're just basically playing it day by day until the baby comes, and then playing it minute by minute when I'm in labor. That's basically really it that we went over in the appointment, just because there's not really much to go over. And I have 2 more appointments in this trimester, and then after those I go to 2-week appointments. So like every 2 weeks I have an appointment, which is just like showing me like how fast this pregnancy is going. I'm already almost 20 weeks, which is literally insane. I feel like I haven't been pregnant like at all, basically, besides obviously like the first trimester, but I still didn't feel like I was like pregnant. And it's like going so fast, and like we're trying to like get everything ready for the baby. We're trying to like the house ready and like go through everything, because we have like a smaller house, I would say, with like a 3-bedroom house, but it's on the smaller end. Our house is like under 1,000 square feet, so it's quite tiny for all of us, but we're trying to go through all of our stuff to like make room so that it's not as cluttered for when baby comes, and then baby stuff has to be out, and then we're even more cluttered. So that's been a process of trying to get that done. Also trying to like just get everything like ready for like when baby does come, like name. My mom is already like watching the kids for that time. She's gonna come over here and kind of hang out with them, so like that's like fine. Like we did that last time with Quentin, and he was good. He didn't get to come to the hospital, but he honestly was fine. I don't think he cried very much, but he also had never been away from us, so even if he did, like, it's not like he did a great job. So that is it for today, and we hope to see you guys in our next video. Can you say bye-bye? Yeah. Say bye-bye. Bye. Oh, that was cute. So cute.